In 1848, a 13-year-old Scottish boy arrived in America with his family. They had nothing. No money, no connections, no English. His father worked in a cotton mill for $1.25 a week. 50 years later, that boy would sell his steel company for $480 million, worth over $350 billion in today's money, making him the richest man in the world. His name was Andrew Carnegie. This isn't a story about luck. It's a story about strategy. Carnegie saw opportunities where others saw only work. He built relationships while others built resentment. And he understood one principle that would make him the wealthiest industrialist in American history. This is how he did it. Andrew Carnegie was born in Dunfermline, Scotland in 1835. His father was a weaver. The family was poor, but not desperate. Then the Industrial Revolution destroyed his father's livelihood. Machines replaced hand weavers. Work disappeared. In 1848, the family borrowed money and sailed to America. They settled in Allegheny, Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh. At 13, Carnegie got his first job in a cotton factory. 12-hour days, $1.20 per week. He didn't complain. He watched. Next job, telegraph messenger boy, $2.50 per week. Here's what Carnegie did that changed everything. He arrived early. He stayed late. He memorized the faces and names of every businessman in Pittsburgh. When telegrams arrived, he didn't just deliver them. He learned what they said. He understood which businesses were growing, which were struggling, who was making deals. He was 15 years old and building a mental map of Pittsburgh's economy. By 16, he became a telegraph operator. By 17, the Pennsylvania Railroad noticed him, not because he was the best operator, because he understood the business. At 18, Carnegie became the personal assistant to Thomas Scott, a superintendent at Pennsylvania Railroad. Salary, $35 per month. A fortune compared to the cotton mill. But Carnegie didn't see a salary. He saw a university. Scott became his mentor. Carnegie learned how railroads operated, how capital was raised, how investments worked, who controlled American industry. In 1856, Scott gave Carnegie a tip: invest in Adams Express Company. Carnegie had no money. Scott loaned him $500. Carnegie bought shares. Within a year, those shares paid dividends. He received his first dividend check, $10. Carnegie later wrote, "I shall remember that check as long as I live. It was the first penny I ever earned without working for it with my hands." He understood something most workers never grasp. Money could make money. Carnegie began investing in railroad sleeping cars, iron bridges, oil wells in Pennsylvania. Not randomly, strategically. He invested in what railroads needed: sleeping cars for passengers, bridges to cross rivers, oil to lubricate engines. By 1865, age 30, Carnegie's investments were earning $50,000 per year, more than the President of the United States. He had never attended college, never inherited wealth. He just understood the system better than those who built it. In 1865, Carnegie visited England. He saw the Bessemer process, a new way to mass-produce steel. He realized something: America was about to explode. Railroads were expanding. Cities were growing. Everything needed steel. But American steel was expensive and low quality. Whoever could produce cheap, high-quality steel would dominate. In 1875, Carnegie opened his first steel plant, Edgar Thomson Steel Works in Pittsburgh. Here's where Carnegie's strategy became genius. Most businessmen owned one part of the process. Some mined iron ore, some transported it, some turned it into steel. Some sold it. Carnegie bought everything. He purchased iron ore mines to control raw materials, coal mines to control fuel, railroad lines to control transportation, steel mills to control production, barges and ships to control shipping. His competitors had to buy from suppliers. Carnegie was the supplier. When iron ore prices rose, his competitors' costs increased. Carnegie's didn't. When railroad shipping rates went up, his competitors paid more. Carnegie shipped on his own railroads. Carnegie could produce steel cheaper than anyone in America. When competitors tried to compete on price, Carnegie dropped his prices below theirs because his costs were lower. Competitors went bankrupt. Carnegie bought their mills at discount prices. By 1900, Carnegie Steel produced more steel than all of Great Britain. In 1875, Carnegie Steel produced 20,000 tons per year. By 1890, 2 million tons per year. By 1900, 10 million tons per year, 25% of all American steel. One company, one man strategy. Carnegie didn't just work harder. He thought differently. Carnegie believed, put all your eggs in one basket and watch that basket. While others diversified, Carnegie concentrated. Steal. That's it. He believed mastery of one industry beat mediocrity in many. Carnegie also believed the man who dies rich dies disgraced. Carnegie believed wealth was a responsibility. In 1889, he wrote The Gospel of Wealth, arguing that the rich should give away their fortunes during their lifetimes. He wasn't a hypocrite. He meant it. Carnegie hired people smarter than him. He hired Charles Schwab, who later founded Bethlehem Steel. Henry Clay Frick managed operations. Henry Phipps handled finances. Carnegie's genius was recognizing genius and giving it room. Carnegie wasn't perfect. The Homestead Steel Strike in 1892 became violent. Workers clashed with private security. People died. Carnegie was in Scotland during the strike. His managers handled it brutally. His reputation suffered. He learned that wealth without responsibility creates resentment. This pushed him toward philanthropy. In 1901, J.P. Morgan approached Carnegie with an offer: sell Carnegie Steel. Carnegie wrote his price on a piece of paper, $480 million. Morgan looked at it and said, I accept. No negotiation. $480 million, worth over $350 billion today. At 66 years old, Carnegie became the richest man in the world, and then he gave it all away. Carnegie spent the last 18 years of his life giving away his fortune. He built 2,509 libraries across the world. Carnegie Hall in New York, Carnegie Mellon University, the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. By his death in 1919, he had given away $350 million, 90% of his wealth. Carnegie's story isn't about steel. It's about seeing systems. While others saw jobs, Carnegie saw opportunities. While others competed on price, Carnegie eliminated competition through structure. While others hoarded wealth, Carnegie understood legacy. 50 years. Penniless immigrant to richest man alive. Not through luck. Through understanding what was needed. Steel for America's growth. Through controlling every step of production, vertical integration. Through eliminating competition, efficiency, not just price. Through building with a purpose beyond money, legacy. Andrew Carnegie died in 1919. His libraries still stand. His universities still teach. His name remains synonymous with American industry, from $1.20 a week to $350 billion. That's not luck. That's strategy. Carnegie's story shows us one truth. Wealth isn't built by luck. It's built by strategy, timing, and understanding systems others overlook. If this breakdown gave you a new perspective on how fortunes are really made, subscribe to Wealth Archives. We document the patterns of wealth and power across 200 years of history. And drop a comment. What strategy from Carnegie's playbook could still work today? New episodes posted regularly. See you in the next one.